as an adult, it's up to you to undo or not undo.
Healing from the generational trauma is something that I'm like, I don't like that.
It's a luxury to have your biggest problems be emotional.
Get on my motherfucking face.
Please. Push the goddamn button.
Action.
What is your least favorite part of adulting? I'll go first. I would have to say my least favorite part of adulting, and I think that I'm working on this part. I'm blessing this experience, but paying bills. I think that's my least favorite part. Because when you're a kid, a teenager, like, you don't have no bills for the most part. At least I ain't had no bills. I don't know if y'all had bills, but I didn't have no bills to pay. So all my money, it was for me. Now, did I use the money wisely? No.
That's why you paying bills.
That is why I'm paying bills, but that don't mean I have to like it. Well, I'm working on it. I'm blessing the experience, but that's been my thing.
Bills don't bother me when I have the money. I feel like the biggest thing, bills become a problem or annoying when you don't have the money, or when you don't know how you're, like, when you feel like it may not be paid, or it's a hassle to pay it. But bills don't bother me. They here. So it's like, now I'm paying the bills. If I got the money, here you go. I'm glad to give you this money so I can enjoy whatever it is that this bill is affording me.
Maybe that's how I need to look at it, because that's not how I've been looking at it. I've been like, it hasn't been like terrible, but it's just like, what, man, you know what I could have did with this $50. No, but I think that, I think maybe it's like the inconvenience of the timing sometimes, because like, you know, Apple Music,
They pick their day.
They just
got
be like-
they give themselves a grace period
of 10 days.
Yeah.
You don't never know when that money is about to come out of Apple, and it's just like, that be pissing me off.
I think this month mine came out on like the 15th or 16th, something. Usually it'd be like the 8th or 9th or 10th, somewhere around there.
Mine usually be like the 19th or something. It came out on like the 10th.
Listen, Apple Music works on a schedule of, I take it when I feel like it. I don't care if you got it.
Right.
So they just, you in the middle of doing some stuff, you like, you know, I'm getting my account together. Apple Music, but let me just take my 10 before you get started doing anything.
Before you get on track, let me just
You
grab
at the grocery
this
store
in.
and be like, yeah, I do got extra $9.99. It ain't come out yet. Get the message like,
Be like, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
like, man, I wanted some more cashews.
I think that's like that's
For me, it always hits when I have other bills coming out. So it'll be like, this bill comes out, this bill, rent, whatever, and then all of a sudden it'll just be like a little $9.99, and I'm like, why now? When everything is like, yep, we see you already paying your stuff. You might as well just give us our 10.
Right, might as well pay us too.
Like,
Shit, man, that was my gas money.
Right.
but yeah.
Yeah, that's my least favorite. What's y'all's?
My least favorite would be people looking at you in a way that, like you're not an adult. That's my least part of adulting.
Your least part?
I mean, my least favorite part. Yeah, that's the least part that I subscribe to. That's the part I subscribe to the least. But yeah, people looking at you as if you're still a child when you're an adult.
I think, okay, that does bother me. I think that, because depending on who it is, I think especially like with parents and stuff, I realize it's a whole process of having to let that go. So it used to bother me a lot, but now it doesn't bother me as much, because I just decided I'm going to keep reminding you, hey ma'am, I'm an adult. Hey sir, I'm an adult now. You're not about to put me on punishment. I'm going to say something back. Like, You know, I'm gonna be respectful, but don't disrespect me.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That definitely is an annoyance. I'll definitely say. I think for me, my least favorite part would be the transitioning period from you not realizing you are in complete control to the time when you're realizing you're in complete control. And I think there's a window where you're an adult, you're just you're not aware that you're an adult. And I think that was probably my least favorite part, because I was thinking things were happening to me. I'm thinking the idea somebody might have to come save me, whatever it is, all these ideas. And I think that was probably the most annoying, because it was so uncertain, it was so confusing, and that transition from being unaware adult to being an aware adult, that was probably my least favorite time. A lot of stuff happened, but it was my least favorite time, because it was a lot more stressful. I don't stress, but that was a stressful time.
I call that the baby adult phase, because it took me, I'm not gonna lie, after I graduated from college, maybe it took me like 2 more years for me to realize, oh, I'm actually an adult. Like, because there was a situation that happened where there was an adult, you know, they was like 50, 60. They said something to me, and we were also at church. So like the programming of we're in church and also respect your elders, because I was still like, you know, we're at church. I grew up here. I was thinking I wasn't an adult yet. They said something to me, and I didn't like go off on them, but it took me like, I had to take a day or two. And I was like, if they say something else, I'm an adult now. If they say something else, I'm going off. I don't care if we're in church or not. But yeah.
Did they say something else?
Nah, they ain't say nothing.
They felt the spirit.
Yeah, because I had to process that. Like, first of all, why did you even feel comfortable talking to me like that? And second of all, you know what? I am an adult. I've been an adult for at least 3 years now.
I realized I was an adult when I was 27, and then the pandemic and everything happened. Everything shut down, so it was like I was in a time chamber. So then this year I woke up, still 27.
I think that I realized I was an adult at 23. I didn't actually feel like an adult until I turned 27. Yeah. That was my experience. So like I knew, yes, I'm walking around in this adult body, right? And like you're expecting me to make adult decisions, but feeling like I can make the decisions without calling my parents, you know, or schedule my own appointments, you know, find my own doctors, all that stuff. I didn't feel like that until I turned 27. And then I was like, oh wow.
You turned 27 and then moved here?
Couldn't be.
No, I moved here when I was 26.
Oh, word.
So it was while we were here that
yeah.
I finally, I actually finally felt like I was an adult. And so like even moving down here, I didn't feel like an actual adult yet.
Take spending time alone.
Definitely. It definitely took time alone for sure.
Like, 'cause you gotta do stuff. Like, you gotta do stuff on your own.
Gotta do stuff. I had to find the people. And it's like we're in a new location. So it was like, I think being in a completely different location plus being like, okay, now you gotta do stuff on your own. It was like a combination of like, okay, this is me. This is on me now. I have to use my best judgment. I can't lean on, hey, you heard of this thing? Like, I can't lean on that at all. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say something else that I think that I didn't like about, I'm still adjusting to when it comes to adulting, is the hidden processes of stuff that I just thought were gonna go in different directions. Like there's little stuff like this. It could be the process of renting a car. It could be the process of, I don't know, getting along. Like it just depends on what it is. But it's little processes where it's like no one really explained what you guys were doing when I was a kid. Nobody was saying, "Hey, we're just doing stuff. We're going to get a car." They're not explaining, I don't know,
There's
Yeah,
paperwork
there's
attached
paperwork,
to it.
there's certain stuff, and then I'm understanding. I see why y'all were had the emotions that y'all had, because some of these processes are terrible. Like, what is going on? Why is this set up in this
In this way.
And I think being able to see how bad some of the processes are now that I'm an adult is, like, I'm looking at certain stuff like, why is this set up this way?
Mm-hmm.
And that a lot of adulting is set up in very weird and awkward ways to me.
I think that's true though, but I think a lot of it now is like everybody is just in a space of, oh well, it's always been this way, like our parents and stuff like that. So then when we get here, we like, it don't have to be like this. Why are y'all doing this? So we're like, okay, let's try to change this a little bit. But our parents, on the other hand, are like, well, it's just always been like this. This is the way my grandparents did it. This is the way my parents did it. You know, that's the way I did it. And I'm like, I ain't doing it like that. This is not okay. This not good for my mental health. So I'm gonna have to take a different approach here. So I definitely agree though. A lot of it don't make sense. Like it'd be certain processes that it'd be like y'all drove 3 blocks to go around the corner when you could have just walked to the corner and turned left. And it just, yeah. So I definitely feel that. Even down to like getting like with passport stuff and stuff like that. Like some of the processes is just outdated. And you would think that as you're getting older, as technology is getting updated, the processes are getting updated, but they're not. Like,
that involves thinking. I don't think people enjoy thinking.
you know, actually, people don't. People don't. A lot of people just would prefer everything to just be spelled out for them, which is fine, you know, if that's what you want. But also, a lot of people don't like thinking. It's good to think for yourself. It will behoove you to have your own thought process. But not everybody is like that. Some people literally just want, don't walk me through the process. Just tell me all of the steps. I'll follow your instructions. Don't tell me to use my best judgment. Don't tell me to make a decision. A lot of people are afraid to make decisions.
I think it's because it's a right or wrong thing. Our entire life is either you're right or you're wrong. But then when you, like growing up, the whole thing is right or wrong. But then when you actually get out into the world, it's like the world is your oyster. Ain't that what they be saying?
Yes, that is what they be saying.
And it's like you can create whatever you could. If it's, this may be right for you but wrong for somebody else. Not saying that it's a bad thing. It's just not the right timing. Like, yeah, it's like bills. It's going to be a point in time when you forget about bills. You forget bills exist because the overflow, the abundance is here, and it's like, oh, I didn't even realize that was coming out.
Honestly.
But I'm
in
glad
a good
it
way.
did.
In a good way.
I'm glad it did because I got lights.
Amen.
You know,
Amen.
I got lights. I got heat. I got AC.
Right. I definitely.
My.
I definitely had to bless the experience. That's what I've been doing lately. Before I pay a bill or I see a bill coming up or whatever, I just bless the experience because I've been working to change my relationship with money, and I feel like I'm in a really good space with money now. And now it's just like, all right, well, let me bless the things that I'm paying for. Actually, that has been helping me to not be anxious or not think about it so much. And it's just like, okay, I can be happy that, all right, this has been paid. That's been a big relief. Like, okay, this has been paid, especially with us losing our jobs when we did. It was like, now it's just like, all right, this has been paid. I bless this experience. Thank you, God, that this has been paid. But yeah, I think that's been like my huge thing. Do y'all have any other, I guess, least favorite parts of adulting?
Maybe just the unexpectedness of adulting. I guess when I was younger, everything felt a lot more scheduled, and I think it's a lot more unexpected than I anticipated. So I think just things pop up, and you just have to deal with them as they pop out. and not freak out all the time. And I think that might be, it's not even like a bad thing. It's just something that I just wasn't prepared for. Like, my parents did a great job of making things seem like there was order and there was structure and stuff to things. But then you realize that life is not very ordered and very structured at all. And something that I realized for myself was that it's my job to establish order when I go places for myself and just sometimes for people around me. So just being able to do that and do that in an everyday scenario, like realizing that everything is waiting for you to gather it into order, especially when it comes to your life. Like your life is waiting for you to gather it into order so that you can organize your steps and do stuff and all of that stuff. That probably is one of my least favorite parts, but it's fulfilling. But it's one of my least favorite parts because nobody told me that I was gonna have to start doing this. They told me that I had to make decisions. You know, you got to decide what you want in life, blah, whatever that is, blah blah blah, and then that was it. They didn't necessarily tell me, yeah, you decide what you want in life. Now you got to set up your life is gonna look like, yeah, what your life is gonna look like, and then if it's not working, you got to readjust again and again and again. It's just a constant state of readjustment.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I honestly don't not like adulting.
I'm gonna need you don't not like adulting. So
You like adulting? Okay. Yeah, because
Yeah, just had to
he
go through the
went
double
2
negative.
blocks to go around the corner.
Yeah, honestly.
Okay.
Cool,
Wisdom spoke. But I would say in the past, my biggest gripe with adulting was responsibility. Understanding that everything is your responsibility. Like everything is on you. Like so that goes to accountability. So the responsibility of being an adult, that's what I didn't like. But now, I don't have a problem with adulting. Like it's just part of it, and it's so much freedom in adulting that I'm the adult in the situation. So whatever I say goes. So I could tell myself because I said so, or because I felt like it. Like, it's not no explaining why I did anything. I don't have to explain anything. It was my choice, my decision, and it's my life.
I do like adulting. There are parts that I'm like, Like there are just parts that I just be like cooking every day. Like I love to cook, but like maybe a private chef could just be thrown into the package here and there, you know?
Visualization. Visualize that thing.
It's coming soon. I already wrote it down. It's coming soon. But I like adulting as well. Overall, adulting is I don't want to, this is very cliche to say, but adulting is really what you make it. And I think that one thing that helped me, because originally I was like, this is a lot. Like, take me back to Toys R Us, because this is not what I signed up for. But when I started looking at finding the beauty in every moment, I mentioned that like a while ago, when I made an intentional decision. That's the word. I made an intentional decision to actually find the beauty in every moment and to just embrace being present. That really helped me to start enjoying adulting a lot more, because it's a lot of things that I couldn't do as a child that I'm able to do now. And it's a lot of experiences that maybe I wanted to explore, or things that I wanted to learn that before I felt like maybe I couldn't learn it once I got to a certain age or whatever. Even like learning languages, when they tell you that it's harder to learn stuff the older you get, that's not true. That is not true. You just have to decide that you want to actually learn whatever it is you want to learn. And we're in a space and time where there's so many opportunities available for us to do the things that we want to do. So I think that overall, I do like adulting, but there are some things that I'm like, I don't I could skip that part. You know.
Yeah, I enjoy adulting. It's funny because when you look at it, well, at least when I look at it now, I'm noticing that when you were a kid, it was literally a direct line to things that you wanted. So if you wanted something, it really wasn't that many steps. You want something, you ask your parents, right? That's really what it was, and either it was yes or no, right? I think in life, let's use the private chef example. If you want a private chef, it's not just get a private chef. It's you got to have the money to get a private chef. Well, if you don't have the money, how are you going to get the money? So it's more steps to it than when I was younger. When I was younger, it felt like it's just 2 steps. You ask and then you get, and it just feels like there's a lot more steps in between the thing that you're asking for and the thing that you get.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I still feel like it's the same amount of steps. You're just the one taking all the steps. So when you were a child, the parent was the middleman between you and what you wanted. Now, you're the adult in the situation, so it's not a thing of I'm asking somebody else. Now it's a thing of I made this decision that this is what I'm doing or this is what I want, and then you just go get it. You still ask and receive, but you have to put in the work rather than asking somebody else to. I mean, but you still could ask somebody else. You know, people sponsoring out there.
Word.
Yeah, but most of your life, as an adult, it's not just ask and receive. It's ask, do, and receive.
Be, do, have.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. But I think that even as kids, there was some level of ask, do, and receive depending on your household. So like maybe you asked and the do is you doing chores.
Yeah, say that.
Or it's
Getting good
like
grades.
getting good grades. Or it's something a lot of times that like we had to do something in order to get to the thing that we wanted. I think that it's different now because the do is not as simple as just get good grades. Like the do might be find the let's go on this scavenger hunt. Find the person who does this thing and I build a relationship with them and somehow they're gonna lead you to this private chef. Like you just don't know what it's gonna look like. I think we had a roadmap as a kid. It's like, all right, I'll be a good kid, whatever that looks like, and I'll get this thing, or I'll get these good grades, and then Christmas time come around, I know I'm about to get exactly what I want, that type of thing. So, or maybe not exactly what I want, but I'm gonna get something.
Some coal.
That type of thing. I think, like you were saying, like there are hidden steps in adulthood that we didn't know about when we were kids, but I think maybe the framework of what you were saying, the framework is the same of like ask, do, and receive, right? But now we have more, I don't want to say we have x-ray vision, but we can see more now that we are the adults. So it's like, okay, the B is us being who we are. And I'm sorry, the ask. I don't know. Sorry, guys. The ask is like, okay, you ask the question, and you, from there, the do is figure it out, break it down into steps. It might be a little bit extra work, but it's like, all right, if you decide you're gonna figure this out, you're gonna figure it out, and then you get to have it. You know? So I think that the framework of it is the same as when we were kids. It's just the actual steps to get there are different, and they vary every single time. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, I think there were steps that you didn't have to think about when you were a kid because somebody else thought about it for you, and that's part of what you guys were talking about in terms of people not liking to think for themselves. There's stuff that you didn't have to think about when you said you wanted a big wheel Tonka truck, whatever the freak it is you wanted. The steps you didn't have to think about how you were going to get it. You just had to think about, hey, let me ask my parents, or let me ask Santa if y'all believe in Santa.
I tried my hardest.
Having a white man come down the chimney, that's crazy.
I wanted to
Wow.
fit in with my classmates. They all believed, but
That's
my
wild.
family was like, no,
That's wild.
we bought these gifts.
Yeah.
And I was like, but also, let's leave cookies out for Santa, though. Even though I know you guys bought the gifts, Santa can still get some. That sounds terrible. Let's stop. Let's stop. Stop. Okay, there will be no Santa in my household. Whoa. Okay.
That's funny. One thing that I was going to say was,
Santa some cookies. That's crazy.
I want to cook.
Leaving a stranger some cookies and some milk. It's crazy.
Oh, man. Wow.
Some wild stories. Go ahead, Brother Bruce.
Now I know why they didn't want me to believe in Santa. It's not just because they worked hard to get these gifts. There's some nasty stuff associated with. Okay, go ahead.
One thing that I was gonna say was one thing that'd be troubling sometimes is the undoing of the past you.
Bro.
So, like, as an adult, it's up to you to undo or not undo everything that is no longer serving you, or to understand why are you like this, why do you do these things. It's just more understanding and more undoing, and then relearning. It's just a journey.
I'll even one up that.
Ooh.
Okay? Not even just the undoing or the unlearning. I think that the healing from the generational trauma is something that I'm like, I don't like that.
So I ain't meet this ghost before.
Right, this ain't my demon. That's what we always be saying. This ain't even my demon. Like, why am I experiencing this trauma? And I know that we didn't necessarily have access as Black people in America to things to help heal us from these traumas. So it makes sense that it went unresolved.
Blame Santa.
But
I'm saying he was breaking and entering.
Yup. And then he could just disappear.
Yeah.
Disappear with the cookies.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, could at least one person have started the healing process before y'all got to me? That's my only thing. Could y'all have at least started it? I feel like I'm fighting all the demons, and y'all could have sent me one or two. You know.
I mean, I think they split them up amongst the three of us.
Oh man. Dang. So yeah, that's one thing I will say. I think it's important to the journey that we're on, but it's also like, bruh, y'all didn't tell me about this part. Y'all didn't tell me about this. They ain't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was gonna say. I think there's a level of they just didn't know what was affecting them to that degree, or some stuff was just taboo, especially when it comes to Black people. Black people don't even like going to therapy now.
They don't like going to the doctor in general.
Yeah, so it's for a lot of our parents and older generations, it was out of sight, out of mind, or they were just so focused on the thing that they were doing, they didn't have time to teach you certain stuff. Go ahead.
I feel like they had different battles.
Yeah.
So it was more physical.
Yeah.
Now it's more spiritual.
Yeah.
So they did the physical labor. They made sure we had whatever we needed. Like, I ain't know we had no money for real.
I
couldn't tell.
I mean, everybody, all our friends was telling us we was rich.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know we not rich, but you know, I ain't know we was broke. But
yeah, I mean, yeah, I definitely agree. They were definitely fighting for our needs, and so like that's why I always got to give my family a pass, because it's a luxury to have your biggest problems be emotional.
honestly, it really is. 'Cause like learning about everything that our ancestors, our grandparents and all that stuff like that, they had to go through and deal with, like I thank them so much for going first.
Y'all believe that emotional hardships is easier than physical hardships?
No, I'm not. That's not what I'm saying.
They're different.
Yeah, I'm saying we are afforded the luxury to not have to do certain things because they've done the hard work. So like, and when it comes to the emotional portion, if all you have to do is focus on feeling your best, that's not a hard problem to fix in comparison to
I gotta feel my best and get hosed down by the police.
I gotta feel my best and get hosed.
That's what I thought you was about to say.
Now get sprayed with the water hose. Hold on before y'all do that.
I think in general it's a luxury for your biggest problem to only be emotional or only be imposter syndrome or whatever, because for older generations they didn't even have a chance to work on that. So they had feelings, they still had feelings, but they didn't get a chance to work on that because everything else was in front of the feeling. So I think that's why it's a luxury. It's not saying it's easy, but it's definitely a luxury.
Yeah, because I mean, even a lot of the stigma with like mental health issues and stuff like that in the Black community, like going to therapy and all that stuff, like the idea was to just pray it away, right? For a lot of people. And then also the idea of going to therapy and stuff like that, that was for rich folks. Like that's a rich people thing. So then it's like, okay, well now we're in a space where, because it was at one point, I mean, people couldn't afford access to therapy. I don't even think it was covered by insurance. Who knows if they had insurance when our grandparents was like growing up and stuff like that. But anyways, just the idea that I don't have to constantly be out in the street marching. It's still stuff that's going on here. We ain't saying that racism is dead, because it's a lot of things that's still going on out here. But because our ancestors did the things that they did, and even like our parents and grandparents worked so hard, and even so much in different like ways, whether it be actually like working or was fighting for our rights, we don't have to do as much in that area because they made so much progress. So then on us, it's like, all right, well, I have the space to focus on my mental health or like do what makes my heart happy. They didn't have that like luxury to, or the time to even think about that. So then the trauma of what they went through just got passed down because that's not something that they had time to deal with, because they were fighting for the physical rights of us to be here and to be able to like do this podcast, or to be able to like speak freely, and or to even just be considered a human being in this country. So it is a luxury. I will say I would have liked for some mental healing to be done, but I understand why it wasn't. And I also understand why, in saying all of this stuff, now it's like, okay, well, it makes sense why this wasn't important to y'all.
Listen, you want me to mentally heal, or you want to eat?
Right.
You want dinner, you want to eat, you want your toys, or you want, like, that's how they was approaching it.
Yeah.
That's how it felt. But yeah, it's just.
But it makes sense though. Like,
they did the best they could with what they had.
They did.
I can't even really be mad. And I mean, sometimes again, it can be overwhelming. Emotions are overwhelming. So I'm not saying that to downplay emotions, because that's.
It's
heavy.
heavy.
Life is emotional, right? Life is spiritual, all of that stuff. But it's very hard to get to the emotional, or to sit down and have time to think about it when your entire life is occupied by everything that's physical, your needs. Like when your entire life is occupied by those things, it takes up a lot of time. And you have to take the time to sit with yourself, sit with your emotions, be reflective, be introspective. Like I think the school, what do they say? The whole school system about us having summer break off was so that kids can help people help their parents. Something along those lines. Pretty much, we had a lot more time. Our generation had a lot more time because we had time to just sit and be with our thoughts.
Because originally, school wasn't mandatory, and people were working. Like, they were working at 8 years old. Like, they were out in the fields and helping.
People was getting married at 12. It was a different time.
They were getting married at 12?
I mean, back in the day in America. America's a nasty country.
Married at 12. Oh, you know what? That was actually.
All right, I'm sorry. Maybe it was 15, 16.
No, it was probably early. 12. It probably was. We not experts on this. So do your own research.
Mm-hmm.
Do your due diligence, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that is one of my, I would say, least favorite parts. But it's been interesting. So I don't completely hate it. But like, if I could have popped out the womb healed, that would have been nice.
I think you did pop out healed. I think after you came out and, life,
into the world.
Yeah.
But about the generational trauma.
Yeah. I think they just rubbed off
sprinkled
on
it on.
Yeah, just kind of you just was rubbing shoulders. You end up in that.
I think you had a couple of days of.
Oh, it was a couple of days.
Yeah, I don't think it's like immediate.
I'll give you a few years.
Yeah, because it's nothing but love.
Yeah,
it's nothing but love. Even if you poop on the floor, it's like, oh, that's a little poop.
I don't believe that's what we're saying.
That's a ooh, stop little TT on me. But then after that, after you stop TTing and pooping,
now
you start
pee.
It's like, well, that's your, and then it's urine.
Yeah.
That's a grown man or a grown woman, adult. There's alcohol in there.
It's nasty.
I really feel like I just stole somebody's joke. I probably did.
You might have. You did?
You did. I'm not going to say where it's from, but you did.
I don't know who it is.
Well, get him that credit.
Steve Harvey.
Steve Harvey!
Hey.
He might have stolen that
Steve
too.
Harvey, yeah. Oh, well, you know.
Allegedly.
No, but I think, but all in all, I think that, I don't know, I've been having fun as an adult. Once I realized I was an adult, I think that changes things a lot. And then also, when you decide that you want to heal from the trauma and stuff like that, it makes things better as you go along.
That whole time where when I wasn't working from home, like everything shut down, then I was doing like physical labor. So I wasn't really worried about, do I got to shape up or and then I started being a lead. So my checks was looking good. So I was like, let me at least go to the barber shop every now and then started working from home. Once I started working from home, I'm still healing. It's still in the healing process, but I'm like, I'm not going outside.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm chilling. I was looking rough some of the times, a lot of the times. But now that I'm back in the world, I said all I had to say. That entire 3 to 4 year time period was very necessary because now I'm in a space where, like, I'm looking back at before 2020, my early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
I was happy. I was a happy boy. Now I'm a happy man.
Happy man.
I was looking back and I was like, wow, I was really enjoying life. I don't know how. Well, I do know how I chose, but now it's like I'm consciously making a decision. Even like me working now, it's different than how I was working before because I got time to actually find out what I actually wanted to do, what I actually liked, create a vision, create a plan. I may deviate from the plan, but all the detours that I made prior to now were necessary for me to be me now. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm appreciative.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of adulthood is literally how can I set myself up to be better later? Mm-hmm. Because being a kid, you're not ever thinking about that. You're just thinking about the moment. Yeah, it's the moment, which is very important. But a lot of adulthood is if you don't make a decision now, the cost of it happens later, and you don't realize it until you're in the thick of it, and then now you're like, wow, what brought me here? You said, well, I didn't make a decision on this Thursday that I could have did it, but I just decided I didn't want to do it. So it's a lot of setting. How can I set myself up for later? And it's annoying because you've lived most of your life in the moment, in the immediate, to make the switch to now. It's for now, but it's really for later, so that I don't have to worry about it later. And it's funny because I think life is really, of course, life is in phases. Everybody talks about that, but I know for me, growing up, when I was younger, I was in the moment, and I cared a lot about physical. Like I cared about how I looked. It was a lot more like surface level things that I cared about. Then there was a period where I was searching for depth. I was searching for meaning and understanding everything. And I was like, oh, all this other stuff doesn't matter. And then as I'm transitioning, it's like, well, no, it doesn't not matter. It just doesn't matter more than who you are as an individual. That stuff still, like you was talking about, Reese, just getting a haircut and taking care of yourself, that still matters. It's not just depth. It's not just material. They both have their own place. You just have to be able to be mindful of doing both and paying attention to both. You can't just let one fall to the wayside, because if you let one fall to the wayside, you can be a guru, but you look crazy.
Thank you guys for joining us for another episode of the Grae Area podcast.
Grae Area.
Yes.
I'm Shakoya D.
Badman Breezington here.
Your humble friend Damani.
And let us know in the comments below, what is your least favorite part of adulting? We already gave ours. We want to hear from you. And if you made it this far in the episode, comment a blue heart below as well. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. And we will see you guys. Oh, and if you want to catch this podcast live and early, make sure you click the link in our description and join our Patreon. We got some great things happening. So join the Patreon, and we will see you guys next week. Bye!
Adios!
Stay blessed, stay black, people.
You say what?
Know yourself. Know your worth. Jukebox, hit me with another jam.
Get on my face. Get on my motherfucking face.
Please.
Push the goddamn button.